So, welcome. I have two lovely ladies here for the next podcast. Please introduce yourselves.
My name is Varpu Jokinen and I work for Hailer as a customer success manager.
Welcome. And
my name is Iryna Besarab. I work for Lamor Corporation and I'm in charge of marketing and communication globally.
Great, welcome. So, marketing. That's an interesting field. It's a bit different nowadays than it was like 20 years ago, right? So you want to tell a bit more about what you really do, what your daily tasks are, and so on?
Well, basically, the thing is nowadays I still meet people who think that marketing is basically just to put a stand on some exhibition, which is not like this. And marketing is much more, and I think marketing is more about the feeling that you create for the external audience, for the people, what basically they think about your company. And the feeling that you will create, it depends completely on the company's revenue, on the company's success, on the new partnerships, on everything. And this is a bit of a difference because before people used to think that marketing is only the back office that doing some small part of the business and actually don't have any direct impact on the business success. Which is completely different nowadays.
A strong brand helps a lot in all these marketing actions. And that's something that you need to basically build from inside, that everyone, your internal employees are kind of ambassadors for your brand, and you build it up layer by layer. And then basically the brand is recognized for firstly your partners and then your potential customers. If you think of strong brands such as Coca-Cola or Microsoft, they have been building it for decades. And it's something that doesn't really happen overnight.
Yeah, so basically you start from the inside marketing, so to speak, and then you let everybody know what your brand is and so on, and then you start building a brand outside, right?
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, exactly. And especially when people, and I do agree a lot with Varpu, that when people who work in your company really excited about what you are doing and they're passionate about the main company's goal, then they're gonna spread out this idea to all their friends, to all the partners, to all the clients that they're talking to.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, and I think that if we take this let's clean the world target, which Lamor has, is kind of really easy to relate to. So I think that that's something that it's really easy to onboard the internal people to kind of speak about it. And I assume that it's not too difficult to get external partners also to cooperate on that topic.
No, it's not because I believe that most of the people nowadays, they understand the importance of this topic and the current world situation in the world. So I wouldn't say it's hard, but still it takes time and effort to communicate properly on that to the external sphere.
Yeah, so you find the right partners. So
exactly.
Yeah.
Because one thing is just to tell someone that yes, we like the idea to clean the world, but completely different thing is to do some actions in this way.
Yeah, most definitely. But how do you communicate with the partners or other companies around the world? I think if we talk about marketing now, so we are building a brand, we're trying to clean the world, right? So how do you make sure the communication is on the right level, so to speak? How do you do it?
I think here also it's kind of question of many different layers and channels. First, of course, you have the company website and the social media pages, and all this should be aligned so they all speak the same language or visually, for example. And there are many different ways to reach out towards potential customers or partners. What's happening basically is that the digitalization is making the distance less important, and the message goes global basically in one click. So it makes the things easier, but at the same time it makes it more challenging, because I think that you all agree that if we now think about the daily life, that it's flooded with messages and different kind of stories, and so I think that the trick is there then to how to differentiate from your competitors.
Yeah, so how do you get your message to the right people at the right time?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's it's flooded, like you said. Social media is full of messages that you're trying to get through. But Iryna, you told me that you work for a company called Lamor. I've had numerous guests from Lamor on the podcast, and you're the first one from the marketing side, so to speak. So I have, because I'm thinking it's a large company that you're in. How many countries approximately?
104 countries.
104 countries.
Yes.
So the communication between 104 countries can't be that easy.
Yeah, and yes, and also here is a little bit of challenge because the way you communicate for each country should be a bit different because of course different like cultures and people mentality and the way business works there. Yeah. So it should be a little bit different, but still you always have to remember about the main goal of your company and the main message that you would like to all the other people to know. As Varpu said, there are a lot of different levels of communication, and also people like the speed, so they like to see that company have a lot of things happening around. That is why it should be a very smart way how you differentiate what exactly the information you put on the website and another one that you, or the same one, whatever, depends on the company's goal, that you put to the social medias, or different one that you are talking with a journalist and then post it on the or publish some articles, or the events that you organize also. So each of these layers should be very well planned. And the message that you want to give to the audience, it also should be very, very clear. Because otherwise, as some companies, some different cases with the companies we have, sometimes it happens that you put a lot of effort into communication on something, and then at the end there is no result. Yeah. So in this case, planning and the smart way of how you communicate on this, this is something that is really, really important.
So do you have like 103 colleagues? One colleague in each country, or is it just you working for the whole 104 countries?
Oh, no, of course, not only me. I also have colleagues who are helping. I also have a team. I also have ambassadors around the world. Yeah. Basically, in most of our offices, we have people who are either full-time or partly working with the marketing. So it's for sure in every office we have someone who is dedicated and doing this marketing job, because this is still very, very important to communicate properly on the for the local audience. And of course, I by myself I do not always know how people think in that country and how the business
culture
operates.
Differences are so big, and languages and everything.
Absolutely.
So 104 countries is, that's a lot. Yeah. So you just have you communicate through, like you said, websites, social media. So do you make like campaigns for the whole 104 countries, or is it just you make one message and then each country makes it a bit different for their country, or?
It depends on the campaign. It depends on the goal. So, for example, if this is like a product campaign and we would like to target it in one specific area, then for sure we gonna do the promotion in these particular countries or cities. If it's more, let's say, the brand awareness, so it's better to spread the idea about your brand all over the world. Then if it's more related to some event with a particular topic, then you target your target audience will be people who are interested in that particular topic and around this particular area. So it's very, very depends, and there takes a lot of time and a lot of effort to choose the right audience, the right time to communicate, the right area of communication.
Varpu, you told me that you work for a company called Halo, right? So tell us a bit more what the company is about, what it does, and how do you see the company or products and services from your point of view?
Hailer basically is a communication and project management platform.
Okay.
It's a cloud service, and what it does, it's basically ties communication, which is like instant messenger, to basic project management.
Okay.
So
Interesting.
you can tailor your own processes into the platform, and it keeps the communication in the right context also, always.
Okay.
So it's kind of a good way to keep your internal employees and partners in the loop all the time.
So cloud service, that can be easy on from marketing point of view, because it's not a physical product that you sell. It's
Yes.
a cloud service. So
Yeah.
it makes it a bit different, right?
Yes, it's a really challenging field to kind of get a foothold, and of course that sets really a lot of pressure and challenges for the marketing. Of course, there's kind of you need to recognize your competitive edge and bring that, or shout it out basically.
Yeah.
And then recognize all those like potential buyer groups and target all campaigns and messages according to those. So we don't really have a general campaigns for all of the audiences. We tailor it on depending
Yeah.
of the people.
So there's a lot of social media campaigns and so on. So, but how do you see that the social media has changed when let's say like within the last 5 years? It's just changed, right? Or
Yeah, it has.
it?
Yeah, it has changed, and there are like, if we talk about social media, there are so many different channels, and they all have their kind of specific ways of working and how the message goes through. And there are these influencers, which are like the hottest thing at the moment. And then there's the Instagram, and if we think about marketing and getting the message through, you should kind of firstly think that what channel or which social media your target group is using, and then what kind of message you want to get through. Now we were doing this Hailer branding campaign, and we are sharing a video in Facebook and in Instagram. So we're kind of reaching out for those users.
Yeah, I guess because there's so many different platforms, like you said, and at least me, I'm way too old for knowing what the younger.
Come on, we know that you are young.
But still, I'm not on the generation that uses all the platforms.
Yeah.
So how do you get to know all those platforms? Because the younger people they use, I don't even know what the names are. Because I know Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah, that's
great.
it. Now,
but then there's so many different platforms.
There are now. Yeah, I kind of confess that I'm not fluent, for example, in TikTok and
TikTok. Oh,
yeah,
that's a new one.
That's a new one, and I think there are many upcoming things that. I think that we should pay close attention to those channels, and they are definitely rising. Yeah, we shouldn't overlook it. But again, it depends who is your target audience and whether they are in the channel or not.
So if you're trying to sell cloud services called Hailer to a 12-year-old,
yes.
I don't know.
Yes.
You go to TikTok, was
it? Or YouTube, yes.
Or YouTube, all right. Yeah, because I don't know what the TikTok is. I don't know what the target audience is on that platform. But yeah, I guess that it can be really hard to keep up with all those and clearing, to have the clear message on all those platforms.
Yeah.
And on the last, like, let's say 5 to 10 years, it's changed so much that now you need to make different content on all the platforms basically,
Yeah.
or it needs to be different sizes or different length or whatever. So it's a hard work, right? Hard
It is,
work.
yeah. Basically, you need to kind of, if you have some material for one campaign and then you suddenly think that, okay, we should post this to Instagram, it usually goes that it's not suitable as it is. You need to adjust the picture size or think about how it would work in Instagram stories, for example, which is huge at the moment.
Yeah. Very interesting. On Lamor's side, because I thought, Haler is a lot smaller company than Lamor is. So, but on the big companies, how do you use those platforms? Do you use them at all? You use Facebook, Instagram, but do you use any other platforms?
Well, for Lamor now, the current situation is that we are doing complete rebranding. So for now, if you go to check our social medias, it's a bit quiet. But we're gonna speed up the process with the social medias starting from the beginning of next week. Of next year.
Next year, okay, yeah.
Yeah, but with the big companies, as you said, it's the audiences are much bigger, and also the messages that you send to the audiences, the impact can be also much bigger. So regarding the different audiences, you always have to remember that at least most of the young people, like let's say age from 18 to 25, they mostly use Instagram and stories. If it comes to the employees, mostly they are using Facebook. And when it comes to the companies, like your partners, it's usually LinkedIn. I think it's not new for anyone. When it comes to the media, most of the cases, this is Twitter. So you always have to remember what is the target audience and to whom you are talking. And depending on this, the message that you are going to send and the channel that you are going to use. And also, as I said, people like nowadays to get the information very fast, very quickly. That is why the infographics, for example, are very, very popular nowadays. That is why your message should be as short as possible, at the same time as understandable as possible. So if, for example, maybe you've seen sometimes people use the data right on their pictures, or if it comes to the stories on the Instagram, also stories maybe like 5 or 10 seconds. So you should be able to engage with the people as fast as possible and to give them your main message so they will understand and they will click on it, or they will like go to do the steps that you want them to do.
So you have like 10 seconds to influence people.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's basically
It's
it.
fast.
Yeah, and
Oh my
if you
God, it's
think about all the companies who are trying to get their message through in that same 10 seconds, so it's.
But then again, if you think about the message, if you take a large newspaper, we have Helsingin Sanomat in Finland, which is the biggest. So in the, let's say 90s, when you wanted to have your message out, you bought the first page of Helsingin Sanomat.
Yeah.
But how fast does that go? If you change the page, that's like 2 seconds. At the same time, it hasn't changed.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
to speak.
It hasn't changed, and I think that there are these interesting things that can happen, that even though you use like this traditional marketing, like for example the newspaper, and if you are kind of innovative enough to engage the audience in an interesting way, so that it kind of sticks to their mind. For example, this men's underwear, the other Danish guys, I think that they are quite good example. They market their product in totally different way than other, or what is the kind of the traditional way to market. So you need to kind of make your message in a way that it will keep in people's mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need
and
to
I don't know if
somehow.
I don't know if it matters if they don't like it, if they like it, but
yeah. You need to go and think outside the box, so to speak, get your message out.
But as you said, yes, before, like in 90s, it was again only 2 seconds to turn the page. But still the amount of the information and the news that you publish and people see nowadays, it's much bigger. So I think that nowadays it's much more competitive, the messages that you are publishing or sending and the way you communicate. So it should be something really, really catching people's attention.
Yeah, because the flow of messages is so much bigger now than it was
Exactly.
20 years ago or 30 years ago. So very interesting, because now, like we talked, it's changed within the last 2 decades, and it's hard work to get your message out, and I don't think people really appreciate what you guys doing. They really don't understand what you are doing and how hard it is.
Yeah, I actually read one thing just recently that this is the time that basically people hate all advertisements. They've never hated advertisements as much as they do now.
Because the flow is so
because
big.
there are so much of them.
Yeah.
Everywhere you go, there's advertisements. If you read newspaper online, there's advertisements. If you look a YouTube video, there will be some ads, or in any social media channel.
There's always
it's
ads.
flooded with ads. So, yeah.
That is why I think it would be smarter and better to focus your attention on building the feeling that people can have with your brand, because feeling is something that will stay with them for 1, 2, 5, 10 years, or if you are very lucky, then also their kids and grandchildren also gonna have the same feeling to this brand. Like for example, I even don't know when and why I started to like Coca-Cola or to have this Christmas spirit with Coca-Cola. I have no idea. I don't know how it happened, but still since the very beginning, since I was a kid, I remember that I always had a really, really warm feeling when I was thinking about the Coca-Cola brand. So it's the same. You have to put a lot of effort into building step by step this feeling, the emotional feeling and connection between the customer or the client or just the usual person on the street with your brand.
Yeah, so it's not just one TV ad or one YouTube ad, or it's all of those combined and doing it for months and months and years and spending a lot of money doing your brand.
A lot of money.
Yeah, well, that helps. It's got the leverage.
If you have the money,
if you have it, yes.
But then at the same time, I think if you know what you're doing, you can start from small, and get your brand awareness out there. Just doing the right things. You don't need to have millions and millions of a budget to do that, right?
Yeah, that's true, and it's basically targeting your message and creating content or product that kind of will solve the customer's problem. That's basically what it is in short. If we think of Lamor or Let's Clean the World campaign, or the idea, we can kind of it's obvious that it's really easy to relate to, and there are like these more and more aware younger generations who are kind of shouting this out also. So that's like easy to sell idea.
Yeah, I do believe that you, for sure, you should start with making small steps. But at the same time, you should have a clear understanding as a marketing person or the head of the company, whatever, the clear understanding on the goal that you would like to achieve. What exactly is the message that you would like people to know at the end? So that's how, even though you will be doing the small steps with the small budget, still, if it's focused on the way what you are trying to achieve, then all of these steps will lead you at the end to the goal that you would like to have.
And maybe in any business, I think the goal is to have happy and satisfied customer who will pay you money for your services. So in the end, the marketing is kind of driving the people towards buying from you.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the whole organization should be committed to deliver results. And then when the customer is happy, he is the best brand ambassador for your company, and he will then spread out your story and the feeling that he got from your service.
And yeah, that's the thing, because quite a lot of cases I had in my life is when sales think that basically they are the most important ones in the company, which is like, don't get me wrong, I don't think that they are not important. They are, but at the same time they think that marketing is more like, you know, kind of send me this picture, or like organize this stand for me on the exhibition, you know, publish this information, which is nowadays is completely different. So marketing is the first stage that kind of helps the sales a lot and leads the right leads and target audience into making these sales or to promoting some project or product. Yes. So we as a marketing will help a lot into diving and driving the right customers, right contact details to the salespeople, and they're already the second stage that help the customer to find exactly the product or the service that they're looking for. So everything is connected, but the size of the marketing that we have nowadays is so huge, and world is changing, and most of the people go into the digital marketing, and they like to use social medias and get all the new information from there. So the old way how you was doing things before, like basically if you just go to the exhibition and talk to the same people that you have been talking before for the past 30 years, well, it's okay if it's good if you want just to keep the customers and clients that you had for all the past 30 years. But if you would like to open a new business lines or launch a new projects, finding new partners and companies to work with you, then you have to change yourself, your mindset, your company strategy, and to be more marketing and digital marketing oriented.
Very interesting. Thank you, ladies. It's been a pleasure. Keep up the good work. And then let's sit down again and continue this talk.
Yeah,
thank you for joining me.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eemeli.